like I said, when someone comes up to you and says, we really had the best time, this is really something we didn't even know was here. And, we came and it's a great time. And it's just, it's rewarding to me in that aspect when the days are long in the summer.
Hey, dog fans, Fool here. Welcome back to Fancast. And today, my guest is the amazing Mackenzie Thomas with the Chicago Dogs. How you doing, Mackenzie?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm
Oh,
excited.
I'm so glad to have you here. Um, Before we get into talking dogs, I'd like to ask you a question or two about actually how you got to the dogs. First of all, when did you develop an interest in sports, and did you play a lot of sports as a kid?
I did. So I grew up playing baseball, softball my whole life. I did a little bit of basketball here and there, was not very good at it. Kind of rode the pine there for basketball, but baseball, softball was my sport. I started probably 5, 6 years old, was a big
Wow.
fan of my mom always tells the story, but I would always watch the weather as a kid on WGN, and then once the weather was over, I'd be like, okay, are the Cubs on? So I was always a big Cubs fan there. And then I kind of took up baseball. I played baseball actually from 8 years old to through seventh grade because I really liked the pitch. So
Wow.
played baseball with the boys for a while, then switched over to softball and played through high school. So it was a lot of fun. Been
Oh
my
my
passion forever. So.
That's amazing. Well, that leads me to another question about passion. When did you know you wanted to pursue sports as a career? I know you have a degree in sports for college. Was there an aha moment for you, or what kind of brought you to say, this is where I want to go?
Yeah, honestly, when I went to the University of Iowa, so I started out there as a business major. Kind of just wanted to go into really anything business related. Didn't know that sports was a real option probably until closer to my sophomore year.
Okay.
I was forced to take Calc 2, realized I didn't like that and I didn't want to go the business route anymore. So I was kind of looking through the major list there, and I did came across sports management, and then from there just really dove in and really enjoyed it. So.
Oh, fantastic. Well, good choice for us. All right. Well, that brings us to the big point. Let's talk some dogs. You ready to talk dogs?
Yes.
All right. When did you first hear about the dogs? Basically, how did you land the job? What was your first position?
Yeah, so I first heard about the dogs. I was interning over up in Kenosha at the Kenosha Kingfish, which is a collegiate summer league team in the Northwoods League. So I interned there one summer. I want to say it was like middle of July. One of my coworkers pulled up. They did the unveiling of the team name. So I was looking at that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. They're starting next year. I'll keep my eye on that because I was graduating a semester early in December, and then I saw an account executive position pop up on Indeed when I was graduating in December and kind of applied and interviewed a couple rounds. And then I ended up as an account executive here January of 2018. So we're a week or two after I graduated college and been here ever since.
Wow,
So
so you came in on day one then.
yeah, there's
You-
a handful of us that are still here from day one. So me, Evan, John, and Trish were here from day one. So
The OGs.
yeah.
I love it. Well, at the time then, Chicago had a well-established set of minor league teams, right? The Boomers and the Slammers and the Cougars, obviously. Um, so did you find it easy or difficult to sell a brand new team? What kind of techniques did you or enticements did you need to get fans interested and take a chance on an unproven new team?
For sure. Yeah. I think a lot of it was just really getting people here to see the ballpark initially. They kind of throw you in the same bucket as all the other minor league teams. Oh, it's minor league baseball. And really, once they're here, they see how different it is. You walk into
Right.
a stadium that's $65 million. There's really not a whole lot of minor league things about it other than the size of it being smaller, the 6,000 seats and whatnot. But really, it's just once we got them here, they fell in love with it. You've got all these unique party deck areas that companies are looking for, especially in Rosemont, right off of 294. You don't have to go too far off the highway either way. You can come from the city. You can come up from. I'm up from the Wisconsin border. We've got people coming down from that area as well. So it's just a convenient location right off the highway, which really drew people here initially as well. So the ballpark itself was an easy sell once you get people here. It's just really getting people to see how different you can be.
Yeah, I agreed. I went there on a whim, just coming because I thought, well, they're gonna that hot dog team is probably going to fold soon. I want to say I at least went to one game and I was hooked. You know, I talked to John the next day and I get me in here. So I get it that the park is beautiful.
So when you come to the first game, it's fun. Like everything is, it ties back to the Chicago roots. Like Squeeze the mascot, obviously, just really every little aspect was really well thought out by Sean and his initial team from the beginning that made this a true Chicago staple. So once people are here, they really see that.
All right, well, let's get into some specific sales talk. So obviously your current title is Sales and Operations Manager, but let's focus on the sales. The Dogs consistently rank second in the American Association, right behind the Cougars. So that means a lot of people, a lot of butts in the seats, right? How do you and the sales team achieve that level?
It's just being consistent from the time the season, even before the season ends. You get the renewal letter in August. It's just staying on top of people, staying top of mind, especially once that season's winding down. People are kind of sad it's ending, and you get people on the train again and their renewal, and then right when the season ends in September, we're reaching out already for groups even before the schedule's out. So it's just continually staying top of mind, even if you're not trying to sell them anything. It's just how can we be fun? What can I send them that's fun? Is there anything we can go and do for them that's fun at their property that says, hey, that's pretty cool. So it's really just, again, staying top of mind and making sure that we do things that other teams can't and won't do.
In that sense, do you find it easier now that the team is established then?
Yeah, I would say just having that core base, and a lot of people are starting to know. There's a lot of people that still don't know who we are, which is a huge upside as well.
Mhm.
But now that we have a core group of established returning fans, as well as companies, groups, things like that, it definitely gets a little bit easier. But we're always trying to find who hasn't heard of us before, just because that's such a big upside for us as well.
So how do you go about being in selling mode when you're trying to hook a new client to come to the park? And is there any difference between corporate sales and mom and pop, just the regular fan? Kind of give us a flavor of how you do it.
Yeah, I think it's really just being relatable, listening to what they want, what they're interested in. There's always a tie in there, but especially with company and group outings, which I do a lot of and the team does a lot of, it's really how can we be different from anyone else? So listen and ask the right questions of, what do you guys want to do when you come out? What are you looking for? What would make this a special and memorable event for you? So it's really listening and then going back to them with different ideas of things that they haven't seen or heard before,
Mhm.
that we could do for them that others haven't. So, like I said, just kind of just listen and dive into um, really whatever they bring to the table there, and we can kind of customize anything and make it fun for them.
Here's a question I've always wondered, like the Liney Lounge and the what do you call the area in left field under there under the
Oh, the field suite.
yes, some of those field suites. Can you get season tickets in those areas, or are those just for corporate outings only?
Those are for corporate outings only. We have done a handful of games. Like if the Liney Lodge isn't sold, we'll open that up to single game tickets. It's few and far between now, but in those early years we did open those up.
Mhm.
But now it's primarily corporate, or we get a lot of birthday parties, a lot of celebrations, but definitely a lot of those company outings that come up.
Sure, sure. I got to get up to the Liney Lodge one of these days.
Sure.
All right, well, let's focus on operations then. Can you give us a flavor or a fuller picture of what operations actually is, what it entails?
Yeah, so my side of operations is a little bit different. I don't do a lot of the baseball operations. They might ask for opinions or stuff on that, but in
Okay.
terms of my job in operations, it's more staffing, making sure that on a game day everything is handled that needs to be handled from the moment gates open through the end of the game there. So I do all of the staffing with Andy Frayne. I do all of the intern staffing. I do all the intern onboarding. So a lot of it in my book is a lot of staffing, and
Oh,
during the game it's putting out those fires and constantly walking around making sure that things are good to go and where can I help and what can I do to make things better.
yeah. Well, because I noticed that you and John and Evan, a lot of the crew there, uh, you guys are all around all every game day. But it's interesting. So you kind of have your little laser focused on a certain aspect. Maybe the other guys are kind of doing the same thing then. with
For
their.
sure, yeah. And what's nice, what I love about minor league baseball and why I haven't moved to the majors or anything like that is any day isn't the same here. So I get to have a hand in, like I said, like that operations piece, but also social media. Like there's days where I'm out doing social media posts. There's days
Wow.
I'm, trying to give my opinion on different things in terms of whether that's the team or how we can make things better for the fans. So we're in a spot here where it's a little bit of everything every day, and Trish and
Hmm.
Sean really listen to all of us, which is you don't always get that everywhere. So I think
Right.
that just in that aspect of no days the same here is that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, speaking of a typical day, let's kind of cover a typical work day for you. Let's say normal days are 6:30 starts. Can you describe a typical day, like what time do you arrive there, or any pregame prep, postgame?
Yeah.
Is there a typical day for you?
Yeah, I would say a typical day if there's no weather in the forecast. We're here at 9 a.m.
Oh,
We're making sure that, anything. The first thing I do when I come is obviously check my email, make sure all my season ticket holders have what they need for the night or the next day or whatever they have in my inbox.
mhm.
And then I'll kind of move more to groups. I'll make sure that any outstanding invoices or anything like that I get taken care of. And then it really goes to servicing for the day. So I'll look and see what groups I have, make sure that their party areas are set up. I'll go out there and make sure everything that they've asked for or something. Maybe I'll think of an idea that they haven't asked for and make it kind of a fun experience for them. So I go out there and get those areas set up, make sure that our group hats are set up, make sure our staff is ready to go, and then really by 3, 4 o'clock, I'm out in the stadium. All hands on deck, making sure that we're ready for gates to open at 5:30. So it goes pretty quick, especially when
Yeah.
you have all the little things that go on. If it's raining, we might be here at 5 a.m. for a tarp and we're here all day. But
Wow.
it's that's what makes it fun. No day is the same.
Yeah, that is a long day. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, and then
Wow.
post game's pretty simple. Whatever we've got going on promotion wise, we'll help out with that. But once game's over, when we get those promotions over with, we kind of get the fans out and close the gates, and we're ready to go home by then.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. In a similar vein, during the baseball season, how do you spend time when the team is on the road?
So we're here. We're still here. We do a lot of outside events. So if we have any company events or things, other events, whether that's in the River Stadium Club or like a buyout of the stadium, we will be out there setting up for that and making sure that event goes off without a
Hmm.
hitch. But if we don't have an event, we're here doing typical sales things or servicing things. We might get a day off here and there during the week, especially if the team's on the road for an extended time. So
Right.
me, Evan, and John will try to get out and golf here and there. So but yeah, really those weekends when we're not here, we're off, and then during the week, it's more that 9 to 5 sales and really just making sure we're ready for the next week.
Sure. You just mentioned something there that piqued my interest. You said a stadium buyout. Is that something that happens a lot? Is that where that's something not baseball related? A company will come in and say we want to use the Rivers
Exactly.
stadium for an outing or a meeting or something, or what exactly is a stadium
Yeah,
buyout?
so it could be anything from the River Stadium Club, like you said. We could have meetings of up to 150 to 200 people up there, which is a great space for that. We've also had people rent out the stadium for groups of 500 to over 1,000 that they do, whether that's BP on the field or just different fun
Wow.
things that they do. They'll have food and beverage. It's just a nice option, just because it is such a nice location and we have all these businesses around us that it's something fun that they really can't do anywhere else. So
Right, right. Oh, that sounds amazing. How fun.
yeah, a lot of fun.
I think you touched on it too, but maybe can we go back to it? You said something about promotions and maybe the how you are all involved. Are you in any way involved with like theme nights or promo giveaways? Is that all pre-planned way like a year in advance, or how does something like that get planned? And are you involved in anything like that?
Yeah, we're all involved in it, which is fun. Like I said, Trish and Sean really want to get our ideas and come together as a team and decide these theme nights, promotions, whatever it may be. So everything that comes through for whether that's a giveaway design or a promotion night, we all sit down and kind of pick it apart and see how we can make it better. But we really start that for the next season right away when the season's over. So we'll sit
Wow.
down for a couple months, and really just like I said, one day it sounds good, and then you come back the next day and it might not. So we'll tear it apart a few times and then figure out what the right fit is, and we'll be ready to go with that schedule by March every year. So
Wow, amazing. Well, one of the new ones in 2025 is Blues Brothers Night. I can't wait for that. Where did that come from?
yeah, that came out of one of those brainstorming meetings. So
Wow.
it'll be fun. We've seen a couple. I would say the Cubs kind of are leaning into that a little bit this year. A couple other teams I think are leaning into the Blues side of things. I think it's an anniversary this year, so it'll be
Okay.
fun to see how we can leverage it and make it different from everybody else.
Yeah, I can't wait for that night. That's for sure. All
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
right, well, let's get a little serious now. What do you find is the most rewarding part of your job?
Really, when a fan comes up to me and said that they had a great time, to me it's like, or when what during the game when it's chaos and you kind of look around and you just see everybody's having a good time, it makes it worth it. There can be some days that are long and you kind of get stuck in a rhythm and it's hard to get yourself out of that headspace sometimes. But like I said, when someone comes up to you and says we really had the best time, this is really something we didn't even know was here, and we came and it's a great time, and it's just it's rewarding to me in that aspect when the days are long in the summer.
Would you like to play a little game? I've done this before. It's called If I Ran the Dogs.
Okay.
Okay, just a couple of quick silly questions. All right, first of all, if you ran the dogs, what food or drink items would you add to the menu?
We're gonna add some new ones this year, so you have to be on the
Oh,
lookout for that.
all
But
right.
I anything ice cream, any big ice cream items. I know we've got the soft serve, but I would love just like a platter of helmet of ice cream. Dippin'
A
Dots.
helmet of ice cream. Oh my God.
So really anything, I would everything would be ice cream to me if it could. So I
Oh,
would say just anything, wow, that really knocks your socks off with ice cream.
how about any new theme nights or giveaways?
Oh,
Anything that's like been suggested that you thought, hey, that's really cool. It just didn't get chosen.
yeah, I would like to lean into like a League of Their Own type night. That would be
Oh,
fun.
fun.
Um, Giveaways. I've always thought a fanny pack was cool. I don't know if that's a across the board type thing, but
Right.
I think they're kind of cool. Um, but yeah, those would be probably my two that I
Okay.
that I like.
And then finally, what would your walk-up song be?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Big Papa by Notorious B.I.G.
Oh, okay. Wow, crazy. All right. Well, this one, I'm sure all the fans need to know this one. How do you like your hot dog?
Ooh, so I'm not from the Chicago. Well, I'm from the Chicago area. I'm from the Illinois-Wisconsin border. It's a town called Antioch. So
Okay.
my backyard is Wisconsin. So I'm not
Wow.
too familiar with the Chicago dog until when I started working here. So I'm more of a ketchup and onions.
Okay. Is that a Wisconsin thing then?
I don't know, but ketchup on everything for me, which is a big no-no around here. So
Yeah. You know what? I know they say no ketchup, but I think it's okay.
if I have two Chicago dogs, I do like them. I'm still the kid in me still ketchup. So
Sure, sure. All right. Well, we're kind of getting near the end here, so I want to ask another one, get a little again on a serious note here. And you kind of touched on it, but I'll ask again, what do you think is the future for Mackenzie? Is there a dream job that you'd like you can see yourself in? Or if you're happy just being here, that's great. But if you could kind of see yourself 5 to 10 years, let's say 10 years or more.
yeah,
Um,
I would say obviously I've been here for we're going on the eighth season now, which is
yes.
crazy. So Trish and Sean have really never given me a reason to look elsewhere. I would say
Mhm.
my dream job from the beginning is always to be a general manager somewhere, whether that's
Mhm.
here or elsewhere. But I think just really leading more into baseball operations side of things, I've always had a passion for that. Do I get to experience a little bit of that here and whatnot, but I would love to get into that more in the next 5, 10 years, whatever that may be.
Well, that's amazing. Well, fingers crossed for you. It's bottom of the ninth, something we call the final pitch. Obviously, this is a show for dogs fans, the ones we know, but also the ones we want to get to know. do you have any special message for the fans or anyone who has yet to come and see the Chicago Dogs?
I would say you just have to come and experience it for yourself. From the outside, it always sounds like it's just another minor league team, but once you're here, you really see the difference. We really go the extra mile for fan appreciation, in terms of, we've got a lot of cool giveaways every year. The team jersey on opening night's really cool, but there's, 10 to 15 more giveaways every year that are you don't get elsewhere. They're very quality items. I would say also theme nights are really well thought out, and we really want to grow on those every year. So you just have to come and experience it for yourself, and once you're here, you're going to be hooked. So
Yep.
definitely got to come.
I know it from experience myself. I wish I could be there every day.
Yeah, you're here quite. How many games?
That's true.
20, how many? It's quite a bit.
All right, Mackenzie. Well, thank you so much for joining us. If the fans want to connect with you, is there a way to do that or follow you on the socials anywhere?
Yeah, my social media is MacT7. So anything is Mac MACKT7.
Okay. Is that like on Insta and
Insta, Twitter.
Twitter?
Those are probably the two that I have that I use the
Okay.
most.
And then obviously go to thechicagodogs.com,
Yes,
right?
always. Come find us.
Funny. Okay. Well, remember, fans, to follow the Fool. That's me. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok now. Just search Shy Dog Fool, Chidogfool. Make sure to give the video a like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Well, Mackenzie, thank you so much. I'm so anxious for opening day and the entire season. I can't wait to see you again. And folks, please look out for Mackenzie. She's always there. She's always around. If you're new to the Chicago Dogs and you want to get tickets, contact Mackenzie for sure. She'll set you up, and like you said, it's a beautiful place. It's a great experience. Um, Wonderful way to spend the summer.
Awesome. I appreciate you having me. It's a lot of fun. Thank you.